Time now for the press review with Solange Mougin. Good to see you, Solange.
Hi, Delano.
You're starting out with how social media is in the spotlight. This after Facebook decided to temporarily ban Donald Trump and Twitter decided to permanently suspend his account.
Yeah, and in addition to discussions about impeachment, this tech story about Donald Trump is making the front pages of the French newspapers today. Libération dives into how many feel the silencing move by social media networks was a little too late, they say. The left-leaning paper says the tech world has, quote, finally caught on, end quote, but that the bans raise all important questions about the power that social media networks have and that the tech industry has, and a delicate balancing act, they say, between regulation and censorship. Now, Le Figaro, the conservative French paper, says that the bans are a sign that free speech policies of companies like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they no longer hold up, Le Figaro says. The paper argues that there needs to be greater regulation of what it calls, quote, the virtual police, as in the virtual net world. That such decisions to censor accounts points to the need for such companies to, quote, take on full editorial responsibility for the content that is pushed on their sites.
And the timing of this decision is obviously being questioned in the U.S. media.
Yeah, such calls to silence hateful or violent content are not new, as we can see by the cartoonist Steve Benson. He's republished today a cartoon he drew in 2017 entitled Babble Ban. With Donald Trump's mouth taped shut, the cartoonist wonders, quote, why has it taken so long for social media to figure this out? Now, in regard to the timing of Trump's Twitter ban, this may be an opportune time for the Republican Party, according to Politico, to jump on these bans. The site says that while the GOP remains split over Trump's moves to incite a mob to go to the Capitol, it may have found the glue to stick the GOP back together, that it may choose to elevate big tech's status from annoying foe to arch villain. Politico says that Republicans are already seizing on this issue as they prepare for their midterm election campaigns. Now, one thing conservatives will likely be pointing to are railing against already, according to the New York Times, is the decision by Apple, Google, and Amazon to ban Parler, the social media network that many conservatives turn to incite hate, and violent posts were often on Parler.
Now, pressure is mounting on Trump to be removed from office either through impeachment or to have the 25th Amendment invoked.
Yeah, and USA Today, one of the mainstream American papers, has joined other mainstream papers calling for the president to step down or for him to be pushed out. The paper says Trump's betrayal of office by egging on a deadly insurrection means he has, quote, forfeited his moral authority to hold the nation's highest office, end quote. Now, from the White House to the most wanted list, it is how the cartoonist Chapat illustrates Trump's swift fall. In his cartoon, you have Trump watching himself as FBI person of interest. Slumped in his chair, he says, quote, I should have worn a mask, end quote, perhaps referring there to Trump's coronavirus policies of not wearing masks that may have hurt his election chances. By face or by name, Trump isn't wanted anymore. At least that's what the New York Times is reporting in regard to Trump's favorite sport, golf. The Times says the PGA, the Professional Golfers Association, has canceled plans to hold its championship at a Trump golf course, a sign perhaps that Trump may not just be in hot water with an impeachment trial, but also a financial crisis potentially in the coming months.
We'll see what happens. Now, in addition to all of this coverage in the United States, the press is also widely discussing how the coronavirus and the race to vaccinate people around the globe is going.
Yeah, the Global Times, the Chinese paper, has sort of split its front page in two with what it pegs as fears of ongoing violence in Washington and with the coronavirus. It tells us on its front page that the Seychelles has become one of the first African nations to do a vaccine with a Chinese vaccine vaccine of the coronavirus. Now, in regard to vaccines, the Financial Times the British paper is also discussing them this morning, saying that pharmaceutical companies and regulators are preparing for what they say is a game of cat and mouse with the coronavirus mutations. Now, that they've already had to test whether the mutations mean that the vaccines work. They do for now, but they should be ready to quickly change the vaccines if need be, if they become ineffective. As they are effective now, they are a hot commodity, according to Le Temps. The Swiss paper is covering how the vaccines are going for between $300 and $1,000 on the dark net. They also say that Interpol has released a warning that mafias are trying to take advantage of demand, and that even countries and tourism industries are trying to take advantage of this, with travel companies saying, for example, to India, come and have a trip in India and get vaccinated while you're
Well, I would
visiting.
hope India would vaccinate its own people before it gives tourists the
Let's
vaccine.
hope
That's another story. Finally, Solange, you found an article that's making quite a buzz online. This is over the cover of Vogue and Kamala Harris, who's gracing the February edition.
Yes, it's making a buzz online about Vogue, but also in the newsroom as well. The upcoming Vogue magazine cover shoot is not making some people happy, including the Kamala Harris's team. They say that they have been blindsided by the choice. Vogue went with the pink and green cover. They say that that is in honor of her sorority days. Those are the colors of her former sorority. But Kamala Harris's team says that that is not the one they chose. They chose the other one, the blue and gold one. So we'll see if Vogue has anything to say. For now, they're sticking with their pink and green cover.
They've already sent it off to the press. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yes. But people don't like it. They say that it is a hot mess of pastels.
We'll see what happens. Thank you very much for that, Solange Mougin. Solange Mougin there with the press review. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching.